Hey everyone, Dave here with another Blu-ray DVD collection update / haul video. This is the third one for the period of September-October 2022. As I said in the previous videos, so much to cover at the moment. I'm just kind of combining these periods into one, filming at the end of September, but I know these videos are going to trickle into October, so September-October period. In this video right here, we're going to mostly be focusing on the most recent releases from Umbrella Entertainment, but at the very end, we're going to be taking a look at a brand new label that has reached out to me and asked me to take a look at a couple of their titles called Plumeria Pictures from the UK. Very excited to take a look at those for you, so let's get into it. Alright, let's kick this video off by taking a look at the most recent releases from Umbrella Entertainment. Don't forget, you can head over to their website and use the code DAVELEE15 at checkout to get 15% off your entire order. That includes anything that is on their website, in-stock items, pre-order items, sale items. You can apply that to anything in your cart at checkout and get 15% off your entire order, which is really great, particularly when you can throw this towards, you know, some of their web-exclusive box sets, collector's edition, stuff like that. You get a nice little mark off the price just there. But of course, if you do want to grab any of those collector's editions, make sure you jump on them straight away because they do sell out very, very, very quickly. With all that said, let's get into the titles. First up, we've got a special edition of Peter Bogdanovich's Mask. This heartwarming and inspirational award-winning film is based on the real-life story of Rocky Dennis, a terribly disfigured but highly sensitive and intelligent teenager. Motivated by his loving mother Rusty and boyfriend Gar, Rocky ultimately overcomes pain, loneliness and prejudice to become a role model to his classmates and teachers alike. This set comes in a special limited edition with a gorgeous slipcover featuring a movie's poster artwork and really great artwork on the Amore case as well. The set not only includes the theatrical cut of the movie, but the director's cut as well. It's pretty slim for bonus features, but it does include a really good interview with director Peter Bogdanovich. We lost Peter Bogdanovich fairly recently, only a few months ago. At the time that I'm recording this, did he pass away? I am more familiar with him as a film historian. He did so much great work when it came to film preservation, and you know, he took part in a lot of really great documentaries on film history and the making of movies, and his thoughts on film and film history and all that kind of stuff were always just an absolute pleasure to listen to. His movies, however, I've never watched for whatever reason. Last Picture Show is a movie that I really, really, really want to watch. Shock Entertainment recently got that out on Blu-ray in Australia, but there's a 4K version coming out as part of the Columbia Pictures Classics 4K box set, which is coming out in a month or so in the US, so I'm going to import that, and that's going to be my first time viewing that movie finally. So this is really my introduction to Peter Bogdanovich, the filmmaker, and I gotta say, in love. I love this movie so much. I heard kind of, I guess, mixed things about this movie over the years, for various reasons. I know that it has a huge cult following, which is obviously why Umbrella has given us this really, really gorgeous little limited collector's edition of the movie. In fact, this is sold out. This is sold out on Umbrella's website. It's still on the website. I'm assuming they're probably going to get more stock of it. But yeah, it's currently sold out, which tells me that this is a film that a lot of people have really, really been wanting to get on Blu-ray for a long time. And I can understand why, because this is such a beautiful movie. It has such a gorgeous heart, and this story of Rocky is just so heartbreaking, but also life-affirming. It's one of those really gorgeous kind of feel-good movies where we follow this person who is fighting against adversity, against all odds, never lets anyone get him down, and he's always just in high spirits and just wants to live life and be loved and give love. And it's just such a beautifully positive movie, and I've heard such great things about Bogdanovich's works, particularly for being like this, being so heartfelt and being so kind of whimsical and fantastical, and you can really see that in this movie right here. Eric Stoltz delivers a terrific performance as Rocky Dennis. Cher is even really great. I've never really watched, I don't think, really anything with her in it, and she is fantastic in here, and Sam Elliott, as always, is great too. And Laura Dern, a very young Laura Dern, is in this movie too. Everyone who's in this knocks it out of the park. I just fell in love with this film. Now, this set right here again includes the theatrical edition and the director's cut. I think there's about 6 minutes difference between them. I watched the director's cut version of the movie, so the slightly longer version. I couldn't tell you exactly what was added to it as far as scenes go, but I do know that the movie includes a number of Bruce Springsteen songs. Apparently he was the favorite singer of the real life Rocky Dennis, and Bogdanovich wanted to use the Springsteen songs in the original movie, but the studio changed them out for Bob Seger songs at the last minute. Bogdanovich was very unhappy about it, but they reinstated the Springsteen songs for the director's cut. So that's the version I watched. I'm a big fan of Springsteen as well, so very happy to have watched this version. I might go back and watch the theatrical cut one day, but this was just really perfect for me. The transfer on this is terrific as well. The press release here does not specify how new the transfer is, whether it's a 4K scan, 2K scan, anything like that, but it looks beautiful. It is a very, very filmic looking presentation, and it just looks so clear and so just beautiful. I would recommend this highly because I adored this movie, and this little collection right here is really great as well. Next up, we've got the next installment in the Ozploitation Classics line, A Dangerous Summer. Hollywood heavyweights James Mason and Tom Skerritt star in this gripping Ozploitation gem about Howard Anderson, an American architect battling a deranged arsonist to save his $1 million resort in the picturesque Blue Mountains. As temperatures soar and bushland is decimated, Anderson races to save his property and also his daughter's life from a madman whose crime has escalated from arson to murder. Packed with action, intrigue, and one of Ozploitation cinema's most iconic set pieces, A Dangerous Summer is a homegrown thriller that is as fast and explosive as a raging runaway bushfire. This beautiful slip-covered edition includes a collection of 8 reproduction lobby cards. It's also bundled with a bunch of new bonus features, including an audio essay on filmmaker Quentin Masters by author and film historian David Del Valle, a new interview with co-writer and director Quentin Masters, That Dangerous Summer, a short dramatised documentary produced by Jim McElroy and directed by Brian Trenchard Smith about New South Wales firefighters, a Filmco trailer reel, and a VHS experience featurette. It also includes a number of archival bonus features, including interviews with cast members, a stills and poster gallery, and an original theatrical trailer. So I've had a bit of a hot and cold relationship with Ozploitation movies. Some I just absolutely love, some that are just not for me. Unfortunately, Dangerous Summer it's not just a Ozploitation movie that I didn't really love, it's just a movie that I thought was just not great at all. This is a very, very, very middling movie. It's a thriller that has very little thrills, doesn't have a lot of tension, and the performances of Tom Skerritt and James Mason are not great. Unfortunately, these are two performers who I really, really like. I love their works usually, and they didn't feel great. This is one of, James Mason's later performances, if not final performances, and he just didn't feel like he was giving his all right here particularly. I didn't love it, but I do, as all these Ozploitation movies, they have a really great cult following, so I understand why this does have a big following. In fact, when this was originally released, it wasn't very big. It was not a hit at the Australian box office. It did not really strike a chord with Australian viewers. However, it opened in the US and was a huge success. It was released under the title Flash Fire over there, and it did very, very well. That's actually the case with a lot of these Ozploitation movies. They did very, very well in America, but not so well on, our side of the pond. But look, if you're a fan of Ozploitation movies, this is definitely one to check out. It's just not one that I really, really thought was all that great. That said, transfer on this is first class, as they always are. I don't think I've ever had an issue with an Ozploitation Classics transfer. In fact, I'm not sure I've ever really had an issue with an Umbrella transfer before, because they always pull up just looking so nice. But look, this is number 18 in the Ozploitation line, and if you are collecting this series of titles, you gotta get it. Next up, we have got the collector's edition of Martyrs. This is the special edition of the movie. I believe it is sold out already. I don't think Umbrella are going to be doing any more units of this special collector's edition right here, but I did want to pick it up and give it a spotlight because Umbrella are releasing a lot of these at the moment, and I really want to kind of show them off so you get a good idea of what these sets are like. Umbrella notes that our collector's edition features the definitive copy of the complete completely uncut film loaded with extras, an exclusive full-image slipcase to hold your O-ring Blu-ray, and pure-bound 48-page book that will help peel away what Martyrs really means. Umbrella has selected key stills from the movie to design unique lobby cards, and finally, a reversible A3 poster featuring the classic Martyrs poster on one side and the Beyond Genres custom artwork on the reverse. This is the synopsis that Umbrella has provided for the film. Lucy, a frail, frightened adolescent girl, flees an abandoned slaughterhouse. Her opaque skin suggests she has been missing for many months. She is found filthy, starved, and unresponsive. Something horrific has happened to her, but what? Flash forward 15 years later, when the quiet tranquility of a home nestled in a sparsely populated French forest is interrupted by a knock at the door. It's Lucy, embarking on a gory quest for revenge. Okay, I gotta be honest about this one. Again, another one that I just was just not for me. The Beyond Genres line has been very eye-opening for me for various reasons. I mean, this is a line of titles that has opened my eyes to all kinds of weird cinema that I never would normally watch, so I don't have to thank it for that, but there's also occasionally ones that I simply can't watch. And this is a movie that I could not even really bring myself to finish. I had to kind of skim through it, and it's tough. Genre film is not really my thing, but I do like taking a look at these things to just get an idea of what other cinema is out there, and to have it in my collection as well, to kind of be, you know, spotlit as this kind of weird kind of subset of movies that wouldn't normally be my thing, and certainly aren't my thing. But I understand why people come to, you know, really respect or in some way, you know, appreciate movies like this, you know, that have like huge cult followings. This is like a really confronting, extremely violent film, and probably the most violent thing I've ever sat through. I'm not one that's usually into like gore and stuff like that, so this is like completely out of my realm. I tried to give it a fair shake, but it was too much. This is too confronting for me. I will read a little bit of what Umbrella has to say about this in its press release, because this is kind of the best way. I think this says it best. Many movies come to mind when you hear the term torture porn. Saw, Hostel, The Human Centipede, none of which I've ever watched, because I just, not my thing. This is more confronting than any of them. But in France, they turn the extreme acts of inhumanity into more than just gore. Martyrs defined the genre known as New French extremism amongst the likes of Irreversible and Inside. Now, Irreversible is a terrific movie. Really love that movie. Vincent Cassel's performance in that is great, but it's very confronting. That's about as far as I can go. The film's director, Pascal Laugier, has said Martyrs is not about pain, but about suffering. The Umbrella release of Martyrs is completely uncut and doesn't shy away from the brutality it confronts you with. Yet it gives dark meaning to the gore. That means what you feel will stick with you just as much as what you see. Very true. It also goes on to make mention that this film garnered a notorious reputation after audience members attending the premiere at Cannes Film Festival were left wide-eyed and a mouth agape. Its reception so shocking it was immediately threatened with censorship in its home country, with calls for the director to be imprisoned. Martyrs is a brutally confronting and provocative example of the French New Extremity, a work of dark brilliance and vile beauty. A genre-defining classic so profoundly traumatizing, it transcends all constraints of your average horror film and dives into the murky depths of human degradation and suffering. That is the best way to put it. I could not put any other words to that without trying to, you know, sound like I'm just completely railing on the film, which I would, because this is not for me. I would be one of the people at Festival de Cannes who probably would have walked out on this film. And I did. In fact, I turned this, as I said, I turned the movie off. I simply could not sit through this. But again, it's an interesting thing to have in the collection, because I do like collecting all sorts of cinema. You know, my film collection spans over 7,500 titles. And I just like to, you know, have films of all kinds represented in my collection. And who knows, as a film historian, one day, I might need to refer back to certain films, and this is one of those important works of cinema that kind of get brought up quite often when we talk about this kind of film. So props to Umbrella for getting this one back out there on the market, and People must love this because the collector's edition is sold out. You can still get the standard edition, which is just in the usual, you know, O-ring slipcase. In fact, I've just clicked on that and that is sold out as well. I'm sure they'll get more stock of the standard edition at some point though, as they usually do. But yeah, this has obviously been one that is very, very much wanted on the format. That said, transfer of the movie looks great. The movie looks terrific. All of that, you know, technical stuff looks good. It's gritty, it's grungy, it's filmic, it's got a lot of grain, and it just looks, you know, what you would expect one of these movies to look like, and it just comes up looking very, very nice in HD. And at that is all the titles we're going to be covering for Umbrella Entertainment in this video right here. Thanks again to the incredible team over at Umbrella for continually sending over all of their new release titles. I know a lot of them are not always up my alley, but I'm always here to take a look at these titles to showcase them. And don't forget, you can head over to shop.umbrella.com.au and use the code DaveLee15 at checkout to get 15% off your entire order. And with that, we are now going to take a look at a brand new label who have reached out to me and asked me to take a look at a couple of their releases. Now, I do use the words brand new fairly loosely. I think these guys have been around for maybe 2 or 3 years now. They only have a very small selection of titles so far though, but I know that they're about to be releasing a bunch of really exciting stuff over the coming months. And I think they just kind of want to hype their brand up a little bit, get a little bit of the word out there. And I'm always happy to do that for a fantastic label like these guys right here. Their name is Plumeria Pictures, and they are basically doing essentially what the likes of Umbrella are doing, and that is releasing catalog titles in brand new special collector's limited editions, usually in slipcovers with exclusive artwork. Some of their artwork is just absolutely beautiful. They've sent in 2 of their previous releases to take a look at today, so let's have a look. Firstly, we've got the catalogue release of Too Many Secrets. No, just kid, that is not the film. If you've seen the movie, you'll know the reference. It is, in fact, Sneakers. Sneakers was released in 1992 and it stars an incredible ensemble cast, including Robert Redford, Sidney Poitier, Dan Aykroyd, River Phoenix, and many, many more. It's a comedy crime caper which focuses on a security pro who finds his past coming back to haunt him when he and his unique team are tasked with retrieving a particularly important item. As with all the Plumeria titles I've seen so far, this one comes in a slipcover, or should I say slipcase, that's the UK term for these, which includes exclusive artwork, and the film inside the Amore case itself utilizes the original movie poster artwork. Now, Sneakers is a movie that I've wanted to see for a long time. It's been available on Blu-ray in the UK a couple of times. I think it's had a couple of releases, a studio release, and then I think another boutique label picked it up somewhere down the line, went out of print. I'm pretty sure it's been released in the US as well. So as far as I'm aware, the transfer that is used on this disc is basically a port from the previous releases. It's going to use the exact same transfer right there. So again, nothing incredibly special. It's what I would call like a standard studio Blu-ray release. It's a really nice HD transfer of this, I guess we could call it a classic film at this point. But it looks very nice. I didn't have any issues with this one at all. But yeah, this is a movie I've wanted to see for a long time. As you know, I'm a huge fan of Robert Redford. I love the work of Sidney Poitier. I love Dan Aykroyd. Blues Brothers, one of my favorite movies of all time. Usually I try my best to hunt down any movie starring any of these guys because I love their work, particularly Robert Redford. Now I think I did own this on DVD. I was sent this in, I think Shock has the rights to this in Australia, and it was included in a Robert Redford box set they sent me a couple of years ago, but I held off on watching it because I was hoping one day it would land on Blu-ray, and thankfully I finally got it in my hand. So thanks so much, Plumeria, for sending me over a copy of this. Look, I really love this movie. This is a really great like comedy crime caper from the early 90s, but it's not only a really good crime comedy, it is a legitimately good dramatic thriller. Like, this is a movie that will leave you on the edge of your seat for the whole movie. There are twists, there are turns, you really cannot predict what is going to happen at any moment, and it is just so much fun. Everything about this is just so much fun. The thrills are great, the drama is great, the comedy is fantastic. There's so many great little comedic moments and gags and set pieces and stuff in here. So much fun, and the cast is wonderful. This is such a great ensemble cast, and these are people you probably never would have thought you would have seen in a film together. I mean, Robert Redford and Dan Aykroyd, that just sounds like such a weird, like, wild, like, fan casting kind of thing. But they all work together so well in this movie, and it's so great. I think you could almost see this as, like, maybe a precursor to the Ocean's movies. It's kind of that dynamic with that cast and the idea of it being like a crime caper and stuff, and I feel like the Ocean's movies probably pulled a lot from this film right here. Look, I had so much fun with it, and I'm really, really happy that I finally got a chance to see it. I would highly recommend this release. They've also sent over a copy of Soft Top, Hard Shoulder. This is a British comedy, also from 1992, which stars Peter Capaldi, who in fact also wrote the screenplay of the film. Tearing up the M1 in his clapped-out Triumph Herald convertible at speeds in excess of 40 miles per hour. 8 years ago, Gavin, artistic son of a Scots-Italian ice cream dynasty, turned his back on Glasgow and moved south to London to make his name illustrating children's books. Now frustrated and broke, his Uncle Sal appears with an offer. Gavin's father has sold the family business. To get his share of the proceeds, Gavin must return home for his father's birthday party. Swayed by the money, he sets off north and picks up a hitchhiker with a secret. Their journey is difficult, but ultimately rewarding. Will he make it back home to Glasgow in time to claim his share of the family fortune, or will he be left crying on the hard shoulder? Once again, this one comes inside a slipcase with exclusive artwork and includes exclusive artwork on the Blu-ray case too. I really, really like the art that has been chosen for this release right here. Alright, so unfortunately I did not get a chance to check out Soft Top, Hard Shoulder. There's just, again, been so many titles that have come into me recently that this one just unfortunately escaped me. Have had a quick look through it, and the transfer on this is really, really nice. This is the first time the movie has been available on Blu-ray, and again, the presentation here is beautiful. This is a really filmic looking movie from the early 90s, would have been shot on film. It's got this great grain structure, and it just looks like your typical kind of indie British comedy or British film from the early 90s. It looks stunning, and if you're a fan of this movie, I know you'll be really, really happy with the presentation that has been given to this movie right here. But I'm looking forward to watching this one because I do love a good British comedy, particularly again from that era, and those smaller, more independent ones are always great. Peter Capaldi is fantastic. I haven't seen him in too much, but what I have seen him in, I have really enjoyed him in. I should say that all of the Plumeria Pictures limited editions are limited to only 1,000 units each, so if you do want a copy of either of these or any of their upcoming titles, you should head over to plumeriapix.co.uk and pick one up, probably right now, because I don't know, these have been out I think for a little while, and I would recommend heading over if you want them. Don't wait around. We've also got another really great title coming very soon from Plumeria. It's called Mazes and Monsters from 1982. This is one of Tom Hanks's very first movies, if not his very first movie ever. It was made for television, and it's kind of gone on over the years to build a really big cult following. It's the 40th anniversary this year. It was made in 1982, and it's coming to Blu-ray for the very first time anywhere. Now, by all accounts, this movie's not that great, but again, it has a huge cult following. A lot of these cult movies are like that. There's a certain subset of people who really love them, and I'm particularly excited to check this out because I love Tom Hanks, and I try and watch as many of his movies as I can. So I'm very excited for this, and I'm hoping Plumeria do send over a copy once it is released, and I can take a look at it for you. I'm very excited for this one. But yeah, you can head over to Plumeria and pre-order that one right now. But yeah, head on over to plumeriapix.co.uk and check out what they've got. I'm really excited to see what else they've got coming down the line. I'm very, very impressed with their releases so far. And with that, that is the end of this video right here. Thanks again to Umbrella and Plumeria Pictures for sending over the titles that I've showcased in this video, and thank you so much for all your continued support. Thanks everybody out there for watching. I hope I'll see you on the next one. I'm gonna have another one up maybe in a few days to a week or so. I've got a few more coming over this period. I've still got to cover stuff from Random Space Media, kicks.com.au, some personal pickups I've got as well, so there'll be a couple more videos coming up very soon. Thank you for watching again, and I will see you on the next one. Until then, take care.